So good morning. Happy Tuesday, July 5th. Good morning to all. I hope you all had a lovely extended weekend. Craig and Jeff are going to be joining us in just a few minutes from Germany, and he will pop in and take over. But for now, we are going to get started. We're going to jump into the normal sales meeting agenda. And we're going to cover a couple topics, just like always. And then they said they'll be jumping in here shortly. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. Share screen. It's good. Like I said, happy 5th of July. Quick friendly reminder: be a courteous neighbor, and if you set off fireworks, sweep up your sidewalks and your driveway and your streets, just so you don't leave trash laying all over the place. I saw a lot of that when I was driving in, so that's just something to be courteous about. So let's just jump into our quotes for today to start off with. The good news is we have 6 great months in front of us to achieve the goals we've set. The following thoughts could assist you in the pursuit of these goals. Hang on, monitoring our participants too. All right, so 6 months down, you got 6 months to go. I've made this statement a couple times, and I've talked about this. I mean, when I sit down and think about how much time that I actually have left and how much I've accomplished, I'm 42 years old. And when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, the life expectancy of a male or female is anywhere between 76 and 82 years old. So at 42 years old, and if I look back at everything I've accomplished in this life and how much time I have left, I have another 42 years at least left in me. It's pretty amazing at what I see ahead of me. And it's kind of astounding that most of us don't look forward so much. We don't look 3, 5, 10, 20 years into the future to start trying to create a little bit more of that future, especially when you look back and see how much you've already accomplished. So look back this year so far. In this first 6 months, with the amount of opportunities that you had in the business that you've had the ability to create, look at everything that you've accomplished. And I love sitting down with agents and going through their numbers and looking at where they're at, trying to project what they're going to do for the second half of the year. And it's astounding how many of you don't really understand where you are at right now at 6 months through the year. You don't know how many listings you've taken, how many deals you've done, how much income you've earned. It's astounding that a lot of us running a business don't understand those numbers and where your specific business is at. So take some time, sit down, look at where you've come from over this last 6 months, what you've done, what you've accomplished, what you have in the pipeline, how much you've closed, how much income you've created, and really take a hard look at that. Most of you will be kind of surprised to see how much you've actually accomplished and how close you are to your goals. And if you feel like you're falling short, you may be falling short on your closings or your listings or the amount of contracts you've written. But when you look at your pipeline, if you continue to work your pipeline, and that alone, you should be able to generate and create the goals that you set out to achieve. So let's just go ahead and jump in and see what these are. Mike Ferry's quotes for the day. Either you quit or you keep going. They both hurt. There's a saying that you either have the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Which one weighs heavier? The pain of regret will continue to weigh on you for the rest of your life. The pain of discipline is going to be how much time you have to put in to create a new habit that creates a new system, a new process, a new way of doing things. And after that, it becomes a habit. It becomes subconscious. So either you quit or you keep going. They both hurt. And the other one that I hear along these same lines is being broke is hard. Being rich is hard. Choose your hard. Being married is hard. Being divorced is hard. Choose your hard. Being overweight is hard. Being skinny is hard. Choose your hard. Whether you feel like you are making a decision or not, once you sit down and look at it, you'll realize that you absolutely are making a decision. The life that you have right now is an absolute decision that you've made. So choose your hard. It's going to be hard either way. There's always a possibility it's going to be hard. So choose your hard. Failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently. Henry Ford. I love that one. He says, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. So when no one's starting over, look at the last time you started anything. You started with a completely different mindset, attitude, intention, and a collectiveness of knowledge. Now you're starting from a completely different experience. If you fell down yesterday, stand up today. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Jim Rohn, that's what I was saying. It's the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. That's a Jim Rohn quote. And this Jim Rohn said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Number 5, keep moving forward. Crawling is acceptable. Falling is acceptable. Pain is acceptable. Quitting is not. And if you do not quit, that's the one thing that separates the people who achieve the things that they want and the people who don't, is people who achieve what they want or achieve what they're after don't quit. Failure is not a failure to them. Failure is an opportunity to learn from the things that they've done. So let's see, hang on one second. I've got to monitor the participants. Let me see if I need to get the rest of everybody in here. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. All right. There's Mr. Beggins. All right. So what we're going to do next is make a co-host. Jeff should be jumping in here. What we'll do next is we will jump onto these slides. So this is what we had been discussing last week. And we were talking about these slides. So I wanted the management team that's on here, Crystal, will you take one of these slides and just kind of point out some things and what are the markers that either the benefit or something that you can take away from this that people can use in their day-to-day business?
Sounds good. The slide that we're on is the one you want me to take now?
What's that?
The slide you're on is the one you want me to take now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, everyone. This is, we've talked about this. You've seen it on the news nonstop that the 30-year fixed rate is has moved up. I think we've talked about it. We were at an all-time low, and our clients who did not take advantage of that missed that low opportunity. However, if you look to see where rates have been, we're just back where we were at pre-pandemic levels. I think I've shared it with everyone before personally. My first mortgage was an adjustable rate mortgage, 7.875%, 7/1 ARM. It was fixed for 7 years. So when we're talking with our clients, yes, the 30-year mortgage rate has gone up, but there's still so many options to finance these properties, and we're still in a great position. So yes, it's gone up. Know the narrative, and the narrative is we're back to where we were pre-pandemic.
Excellent. So Otis, if you have a second, would you take this slide and just kind of read through it and give us some of your thoughts on this particular point that they're talking about?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everyone. So this one's basically if you are a home buyer, somebody or a young person looking to buy a home, you need a bit of a reset. And it says here, we need to get back to a place where supply and demand are back together and where inflation is going low again and mortgage rates are low again. And what that basically is saying is a lot of our first-time home buyers, a lot of our people who are trying to get into the market and stop renting are basically priced out. And this has given the opportunity for inventory to kind of reset itself and balance itself out a little better than it has been. And it puts buyers in a position where they can afford some homes again and not be outbid. So there's a little bit more equilibrium or a little more balance in the market to help out those buyers.
Yes, sir. So I'll take this one. The low rates of the last few years were an anomaly. Now this is absolute truth. And you can see here, these are how the rates have shifted over this past year. But what you can see is that if you look at the trends over the last 30 years, we've had absolute historically low rates over the last 3 to 5 years. I mean, anything under 6% is pretty much an amazing rate. A nice balanced rate in the 6% range is where it makes sense for both banks and consumers, banks to lend money and consumers to buy product, because they're not overpaying for interest. The banks aren't overcharging for interest. They're making money and they're able to operate at normal business practices. So those are good things that the rates have shifted and changed a little bit. What we had was not sustainable. So the market, the way that it was not a sustainable thing. It can't continue on that way. It doesn't mean that things have to crash for the market to not continue on that way again. Just that steep trajectory that we had is just starting to level out a little bit. We're still going to see things continue to move in a direction where people are still buying and people are still selling. We're just not seeing that steep trajectory that we had. Mr. Beggins, good morning, good afternoon to you from Germany.
Thank you so much. We've been in Germany now for 24 hours.
Yes, that's right.
And slept about 2. And we just got back from the summer bobsled trails. And what town was that?
We're at the Lorelei, right on the Rhine River there.
The Lorelei on the Rhine River, a beautiful drive on the, whatever that highway is called, that takes you down the Rhine River. Just absolutely beautiful. Anyway, sorry, we're a little bit late. We got my nephew here, had to go a couple extra times on the thing, and we saw a little museum and learned all about Laura Lee, who was a fictional character, who is a beautiful woman who was brushing her hair on the mountain and created a whole bunch of shipwrecks in this area of the hills. And it's just fascinating. We'll share some pictures with you later. And when we tried to kill Dad again, we put him on a bobsled and he didn't know how to use the brake, so he rear-ended somebody.
He literally got kicked out of the place.
Yeah, he did, in German.
Not following rules, but hey, that's all right.
So it was really cool. Because think about the technology, guys. I knew we were going to be late because we got Google Maps going, and I texted Chris and said, hey, I shared the agenda with him that I did this morning at about 2 o'clock in the morning, your time. And then I also sent those slides, and he didn't get those. And while he's driving, I'm doing this, texting on my phone in a foreign country, how many thousands of miles away?
A lot.
And it was like literally instantaneous. You want to see? Here's my nephew right here. Say hi, Kai. So you're right there. There you go. How old are you?
6.
6. And how many languages do you speak?
4.
4?
Yeah.
Tell me which ones they are.
Spanish, Mandarin, German, and English.
Well, you're too smart to sit on my lap.
Yeah.
Yes, he was our tour guide. He takes us to the grocery store and says, this is what I want to get. Actually helped me get to the restroom, because you don't go to a restroom here. What do we have to do? You have to put a coin in?
Yeah.
And we didn't have any coins. So you helped me navigate that trail, didn't you?
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff, right? Say hi, there's 80 people watching you right now on TV.
Bye.
Cool. All right, so Chris, you got through quotes, you got through this. We're not done with the slideshow. Everybody still have their chance to talk. Just want to say thank you for starting that meeting, because we didn't plan to be late, but we were.
Yeah.
So let's finish those slides up, because then I'll jump into the agenda, because there's some pretty cool things going on. And some of it are leave some room for improvement. And when that happens, we have some opportunities to, no, the camera's over here, dude, you gotta see that, to take advantage of. So we'll do that. So next slide. Where do we cover this one? Okay, well, I'll do this one. US inflation and mortgage rates bring US housing demand back from 2021, back from the 21 frenzy. We're still seeing it. I'm going to show you today, leads are actually up, but the type of leads are different. And that's going to be a big change that Chris and I will actually talk about. Realtor.com's newly updated forecast predicts inventory will grow double digits. We're up again, and offer buyers a better than expected chance to find a home. So the big takeaway from this, for all of you that are listening, your buyers now have power they never had before. And you're all seeing it. We're not putting houses on the market and getting multiple offers in the first couple of days. We're getting multiple offers in the first couple of weeks. So buyers have now a chance to say, I need closing costs because rates have gone so high. I need a home inspection contingency. I need a home sale contingency. I need things. So we've got power in there. So don't be afraid to ask. We've been conditioned for the past 2 years.
2 years.
You can't ask for anything. You're a lowly piece of garbage buyer. You've got to put everything on the table and win. That's not the case anymore, and the listing agents are seeing it. I didn't see any recessionary fears in the airplane, did you?
No, but we're in one.
Yeah.
Right. So it is what it is.
Well-
And everything's slowing down. We know that. So that just are you going to participate? Are you going to have a personal recession or not? I'm not going to. And let's just decide not to have a personal recession. If the global economy is doing one, we don't have to. So but we got to get to work.
I had a debate with an attorney the other day, and y'all know who I'm talking about. And he says, Craig, you know, every time there's a recession, prices are going to drop in real estate. And I said, that's absolutely not true. You'll see a graph here in a minute. 4 out of the past 5 recessions, go and find it. This is it. Real estate prices went up. So the
Rates.
Fed controls interest rates and says, hey, the market's too hot, let's raise rates. And they go too far and they say, oh, we got to slow down, and they lower rates and the economy speeds up again. So it went up, it came back down, 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 until the big crash, where it just went down, 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 down. And then we're still feeling that, and it's back up now too.
And it's
When
not
you look at
easy.
these graphs, look historically at the time. So in the second column, the second yellow block, look how high the rates were. Right? And now look how low they are. So when you look at a long-term yield curve, it's like this, it's way down. So you got to stop, what do you call it? Control the narrative.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Stop people in their tracks. The attorney says, every time recessions come, prices drop. Only 4 out of 5 times they did not drop. So that's the purpose of that slide. And then look at the numbers. 1980, they said economy's too hot, 16%. All right, let's speed it up. Let's drop rates to 11. Otis, drop rates to 11. Good night. Are you taking a nappy poo? Want to go on camera and say hi to everybody?
Sure.
This is Rami.
Good night. Taking a nap.
It's 2:30 in the afternoon here. Well, it's 2:40 in the afternoon here now. Then rates 18 cool to 13, 11 cool to 8, 7 cool to 6, 6 cool to 4.8, 3.75 cool to 2.75. What's the balance? If you picked a median in that number, what would it be?
Are you
Somewhere
asking?
between 7 and 11,
Yes.
right? And we're at 6. And you just got rates today from Kathy Mack from Discount Loans.
Yeah, they're down, which is great. That's my personal favorite thought that I want to believe is that we've peaked, or we've come very close to peaking at the interest rates. But FHA is down to 4.5%. Conventional is down to 5.375, which is down from 6%, a little over 6 last week.
Signs and a good thing.
Along that lines, when you're talking about, this is what this one slide says, that the throughout recessionary periods, interest rates go up at the beginning, but in order for them to come out, the interest rates end up going down. And you can see in the slide, in every single one of the last recessions, interest rates go down. The prices aren't reflective of what's going on in the market. So in a recession, the prices don't go down, the interest rates end up going down. And you've said that before, 3 out of the last 4 out of the last 5 recessions, prices actually went up. But this is the only constant for the recession, is that the interest rates will come down. Like Jeff and Mike talked about a couple weeks ago, stating and showing that the interest rates are going to go up, because coming into this, they're trying to slow it down. Interest rates go up, it slows down, it says, okay, now we got to bring them back down to stimulate the economy again, because in a recessionary period, people get a little fearful, they hang on to their money, and now they have to drop the rates to get people to spend more money again.
Yeah, but tied into that, Chris, is prices go up during recessions too. So the quote that Mike came out with, my favorite quote was, marry the house, date the mortgage. Commit to the house you really want and buy it now. But the mortgage is interchangeable. You can trade that out. If rates drop, refinance. If rates don't drop, keep what you got, right? It's fluid, so you have a choice.
That's right. And they're going to go down. So that's what we have to assure everybody is.
Well, that's one thing Jeff and I differ on. I mean, 6% is a really good rate. Historic. I mean, this is 30 years in the business for me. I've never seen rates below 6 until the last 8 years. So
I just think they're going to overdo it like they do every single time. We're going to go too far. We're going to get too far into a recession, and then we're going to have to stimulate the economy again, and they're going to drop the rate. So when they do, like we always do, is say refi now, right? At that time will come again, whether it's this year, next year, the one after that, it's coming. So if you can qualify for whatever house you qualify for now and lock it in, take the appreciation and refi later.
Right. Well, I was in the Bahamas a month ago, and a standard interest rate in the Bahamas right now is 8.75%. That's the best you're gonna get on a 30-year fixed. I don't know what the rates are here yet, but we'll find out.
I do. They're up to three.
They're up to 3.
3.25.
They were negative.
Right. Well, the interest rate's still negative, but you used to be able to buy a home for 0.25% a year ago.
Wow.
Now it's 3.5%. So that's a big significant.
Yep.
Globally.
Okay, and this is an article, and actually when Jonathan gets over his COVID exposure, we're going to film some video on this. Recession doesn't equal housing prices, but more importantly, MLS price reductions don't mean prices are going down. And this is important because I do actually talk to a lot of people on a daily basis. And a lot of them are neighbors and people like run into the grocery store and stuff. And they're saying they know, they're watching the media, they're watching the MLS. They're not watching MLS, but they're watching Zillow and Realtor.com. And they say, oh my God, did you see Sally dropped her house from 2.2 to 1.8?
Right.
Can't believe prices are falling so fast.
Yeah.
But 2.8, it never should on the market for 2.2, or it never should on the market for 550. It really should on at 475. And I've talked to you guys, agents, about this too. And you know damn well it shouldn't have been at 525, but you took it anyway. And then you hammer them down week after week after week until they get to the price that causes action to happen and then it sells. I'll show you the stats in a minute on the next slideshow, but that's just the truth. So MLS price reductions do not mean prices are falling, right? This one I'm confused about because this is a showing time index. And years ago, we didn't use showing time as much as we do now, but still the blue lines are indicative of where we are and showings are down. So just look at the green line, that's where we're at. And I'll show you that in our sales numbers too. But I got a caveat to that one too. And this is my favorite slide. Let's see, who's not talked on the panel yet? Julie, you want to talk about that one?
Absolutely. Good, glad to be back in the office after 2 weeks out myself.
Same way.
Yeah. Yeah, existing home sales. So, you know, just like everything we've been saying, there's going to be a reset, and the prices are going to reset, the interest rates are going to reset. And just like Michael Reichenbach just chimed in on the chat box, when he bought a home, it was at 13.5%. So that shows you the adjustment, and not only in interest rates, but we've been talking about that too. Like you said, get the house now, you know, get it with an adjustable rate mortgage, and then you can refinance it later. You know, get the house you want now while you can, and worry about the price later.
Yeah, the one I want you to take away from this slide is, you remember, Jeff, when did our real estate, Baggins Enterprises real estate market recover? We started
No,
doing
yeah.
really well in 2018.
2018. Yeah.
That's when it boomed. How many home sales were there in 2018, Julie? In the country?
5,340,000.
And the same thing, and that was a very good year for us.
Yeah.
What was our average sales price back then?
280.
Probably 280.
Yeah.
Right? Then we had another banner year in 2019. And then 2020, we flew off the handle with 5.6 million. 2021 was our best year ever in the history of our 30-year company at 6.12 million. And that was obscene. And what happened when that happened to our commission rates? They went down because there's so many agents that are so hungry and clamoring for business. They would take anything at any price, and nobody had standards. And now they're predicting this horrible decline in sales from 6.1 million to 5.6 million, which is pretty much the same as 2020, except what's the big change? Who can pick my mind or read my mind on the big change between 2020's 5.6 and 2022's 5.6?
They're going to need us more than ever.
Yeah, prices are higher than ever, but what state are we in?
Florida,
And what's the fastest growing state in the country?
Florida.
So we're stealing market share from every other country in the union. And
I think there's more to it as well. I think people, because of the narrative that's going around in the media and the way that people are talking and the fear that is out there in some people, they're going to need us more than ever, which means you need to stand firm in standing up for your value and your commissions. So now we can go back to earning a higher commission rate, because during this time, everything was just so easy. Everybody was trying just to get a deal. I'll do it for 1 or 2%, whatever it takes. Now you're going to be able to stand up for your value more, because they're going to see that they need you more than ever.
please, words from my mouth to yours. That's awesome. And that's true. And guys, you have the power to do it. And most people that we're talking to on a regular basis are doing it, and you're winning, right? And they need professionals now. I'll show you a long story short. I told y'all I was working on an 8-unit townhouse project, and I did everything backwards. I helped the guy way too much without a commitment up front. And he came back and said, okay, I'm ready to list. And I gave him my marketing presentation and I asked for 6%. And he said, absolutely not. I won't pay more than 4. I said, well, you're not getting me. And I bantered back and forth with him for weeks and weeks and weeks. And he wasn't budging on his 4 and I wasn't budging on my 6. And I really don't care. I'm not attached to the outcome. Well, he just made a decision, hired a company from North Tampa. They've done collectively, there's 2 agents in the company. They've done 11 closed transactions in the last 12 months. That's all they've done. We do 11 sales a day.
Yep.
Now, more importantly, they blundered the marketing. They priced every unit the same, and they hit every unit on the market at the same time. That's a no-no. You put 1 or 2 on, you feel it out, see how the market reacts, then you bump the price. You're a master of that. You bump the price a little bit, you sell the next 2 units. You bump the price a little bit, sell the next 2 units. So long story short, 1% on these units is $8,000. 8 units times $8,000 is
64.
$64,000. I guarantee you I would have raised his prices more than $64,000 on the remaining 6 units, and he would have put more money in his pocket by paying 6% rather than 4%. We would have had a better reputation paying 3% to our cooperating brokers, and we would have been happier as a listing brokers with 3%.
Yeah.
That's it. Pretty cool.
But the other agent did a good job convincing that person that it was the same.
It was the same.
So that's what they did.
Well, I did a pretty damn good job convincing him that it wasn't the same thing, but the market since has changed.
Correct.
So if it wasn't, he's probably crapping in his pants right now because he hasn't sold all 8
That's
units,
right.
which he thought was going to happen. Fannie Mae, these are the forecasts pre the interest rate explosion. So understand that. 2022 home sale forecasts were another banner year at 6 million. They're going to readjust this at their next outcome, and it's going to be more toward the 5.6 million probably. Estimated home price appreciation. I want to talk about the dad and I were talking about this morning. This morning, by the way, for us was 12:30 at night for y'all, which is crazy because I got, I woke up this morning at 6, which was midnight your time, and I wanted to call people and say hi and tell them about the traveling experience. And I said, oh, I better not do that.
No.
It's midnight. It was 4th of July. But look at this. Previous slide, Chris, if you don't mind. This is forecasted interest rates. Is it interest rates? No, percentage growth. 9.3%. They're forecasting housing prices to go up this year, 9.3%. In 2023, 4.2%, 3.1, 3.5, 4.0. So Dad and I were talking this morning, and I was explaining about Home Partners.
Yeah.
And Home Partners to him now is, he said, that's brilliant. I would just tell everybody to buy using Home Partners and use their money to buy the house. And if it goes up in value, then you strike. And if it doesn't, you stay as a renter.
Yep.
It takes all the fear away. So Ashley, how many Home Partners leads did we get through Reload this week? I don't know the
I
exact,
don't know the exact number, but we've been getting a lot.
50 plus. I saw the report this morning.
Okay.
Or last night for y'all. And then Puma, he's on vacation this week, but I'm copied on every Facebook lead that he's running, spending $10 a day.
Yeah.
And there's 5 or 6 a day that are coming from that. So collectively, we've had 80 to 90 Home Partners leads spending $10 a day between our Realogy Connection and our Facebook ads. And I'll show you more about that because I came up with a new acronym for you guys today. It's called FLAB. I tempered it down from my my less kind words. So anyway, this is forecast. So this is what the big guys are saying. Our prices are going to go up. So and that's normal as we see in less recessionary terms.
But the media sees this slide and says, oh my gosh, we have an 80% decline
right.
in housing appreciation. Right, which some general public would go, oh my gosh, we're all going to die.
Right.
But everybody else says we're just going to go up 4% instead of 20.
Right. Well,
So
one of the
control the
articles on the agenda today is, and it's funny, I got another sale I was working on, it's a big one. And the seller got an article that said Tampa Bay's prices have gone up 38% in the last year. And the seller, wrongly, in my opinion, took it upon himself and sent that article to the buyer and said, this is certainly a good position for you, but it kind of screwed me. And the buyer wrote back and said, it's really odd that a seller would send a buyer an article like this, right? And I know what the seller is doing. He's saying, look, guy,
If you wiggle, I'm gonna raise your
if you
price.
wiggle, I'm going to raise your price. Don't try to ask me for any extensions or anything, because you already made 38% based on what I accepted a year and a half ago versus what you're going to have to pay next month. Because the buyer's starting to posture saying, I need extensions, this, that, and the other. So this is a slap across the face saying, don't mess with me because I know where I'm sitting.
Mhm.
And the buyer didn't appreciate that because he was called out on it. And that's pretty sophisticated negotiation,
That's right.
but it's what we did. So good news for us. Sharpen up your home partner skills. We'll get to that. Inventory's going up. You're going to see it again in the slides and that's coming up with the PowerPoint. But it's still selling. There you go. Okay, go to PowerPoint. Let's go. Okay, this is serious now. And I'm going to give you caveats because it's a weird time of the year because June 30th was Thursday and then July 1st was Friday. So theoretically, everything that closed by June 30th should have been in the office. And we're going to have two things. The second line on my script says, let's talk about turning deals in timely. Okay, Father Craig is going to give you this one right now. I'm going to take you back to chapter 475, went to real estate school. Y'all don't do transactions as an agent. You do transactions under a brokerage. We had a very large closing occur last week and a check got delivered to our agent, made payable to our agent. And thank God our agent was honest because they would have gone to jail. Okay, number one, it's illegal for an agent to accept compensation from anyone but their broker. Illegal, chapter 475, federal offense. Number two, it's illegal for a person to pay a licensee a commission for a real estate transaction and not go through their broker. You just can't do it. It's Florida law. You can't do it. Well, this lawyer closed this transaction and wrote the commission check to our agent. Our agent did the right thing and sent the check to the company, but we had no file. There was no contract turned in. There was no deal sheet. There was no closing package in the loop. There was nothing. We didn't know this transaction existed, right? So we got to turn these things in timely because that's not what happened. So we had closings on Thursday and we're doing a lot of pay to closings. We really appreciate you guys giving us because it lets us in the back office spread out the drama of all these closings on the last day of the month, right? But the flip side of that is they give you your check and they forget to send us ours, right? Or they mail us ours snail mail, or they don't mail it at all and it sits there, or they send it to my house or whatever they do. It's really annoying because there's so many title companies that don't know what they're doing, right? So it's kind of incumbent upon you to have our back, like we have your back. When you do a pay to closing, you're paid. You don't really care about our money, but we do. And you need to let us know it closed. So turn in your dot loop, fill out your stuff, let us know. We'll call the title company. We'll hunt them down. We don't like to, but we shouldn't have to, but we will. So turning in deals timely is critically important. So here we are. Thursday is the 30th. Friday's the 1st, and everybody started to party 4th of July. So we have a whole bunch of closings, 50 to be exact, that were due to close on the 30th that have not been turned in yet. So I have no idea if they closed or not. And this is important because when I show you the numbers in a second, you're going to see why I'm kind of freaking out. Because this is the first month we didn't open over $2 million in business in like the last 2 years. But I'm not sure I'm ready to worry yet because you might be sitting on files you haven't turned in because it was a holiday weekend.
Mhm.
And yesterday was Monday and we're closed. So I'll just be biting my fingernails for another week or two until we figure all that out. But anyway, what I know is our listings are up to 205, which is up from 198. So watch closely. You can see the market changing. Of that, I didn't write it down, but 34, I'm sorry, I did write it down. New listings in June, 97. We weren't taking anywhere near that many listings. You guys are doing a great job. And in most of our markets, our personal market share is going up. Our average listing price now is $680,000.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. And 34 of the 97 listings we took, that's over a third, are already sold and or closed. So that's facts. 1/3 of the listings we took this month closed and or sold this month. That's pretty cool. That's a really, really strong, we would have been killing for this market 5 years ago. And now we're sad because 50% aren't sold in the first month. That's crazy.
But in the peak, it was 80% of those sold,
That's right.
right?
Yeah, it hit, it went. Sales, 167 sales, $68 million of volume for 1.7 million at GCI. I know, Joy, you're probably listening. You're probably seeing contracts, or Angela, you're probably listening too. I'm sure there's more contracts on your desk that have not been loaded yet. And Sam, you're in the same group there. So we'll see, we might hit over 2 million. That won't freak me out too bad. But that's the first time we really opened less than $2 million in quite a few months. And then closings so far, we have 158 closings for 76 million, which is a little bit more than we opened. So we're replacing our business, which is still good business. Pending to close by last Thursday. We have 73 contracts with the June 30th closing date, worth $50 million in sales and $1 million in gross commission. So did we do 1.7 million last month, or did we do 2.7 million last month?
We'll see.
We'll see. So hence, second line, let's talk about turning in deals timely, please. Pending close for 2-2, our job. Did we hear from Paramount Title? Chris, we have Misty or somebody online?
We have Megan online and we have not gotten to them yet.
Okay, well, they're next on the agenda. Megan.
morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody today?
Fantastic.
Good. I just wanted to come in and do a quick reminder. The training for July is with Amy Gregory and it's on contracts. So that's exciting. We hope to see everybody's faces on there and learning about all the contracts and what's new. And
Hey, let me jump in there real quick, because Amy Gregory is a really talented woman.
yes,
She's
she
in
is.
charge of the Florida Agency Network, which is our company, and all the other Hillsborough title companies. And she's really
Mhm.
super smart. So you're going to see a different perspective from her on contracts than you have from Jim Holloway. So on July 14th, which is the next Thursday, Paramount's basically on the second Thursday of every month. So tune
Yep.
in, Amy. I
Exciting.
recommend you watch.
All right. That was it. You guys have a great day. We look forward to seeing you on the 14th. And I'll see
Okay.
you next.
Okay, thank you much.
Thank you.
All right. I think my rant comes up next. Yep. Okay, this is it. I'm sorry. I'm going to have a swig because my throat is very dry. So
Can
this
do
is a Bittenberger Radler Ale.
alcohol free since during the day.
It's alcohol free because it's during the day. It's not 8:30 in the morning here. So leads are drying up. Chris, help me with this one. Zillow, we were really popular with Zillow. They grew us into a 300 lead a month company. Last month, they cut us back to 20 leads a month. I didn't even tell you that.
Mhm.
20 leads a month. Why?
Perspective, we were due to receive 250 to 320 leads every month for the last 3 months. Prior to that, it was between 200 and 275. We've continually been growing. Their projections were we were always getting about 20 more than what they projected. Their leads continued to increase. And
Yeah.
then this past month, they come out and said, we've missed our mark. Our leads are way down. We did not expect them to be this low, and we're cutting everybody on their flex team, which are referral-based payments. They're cutting them way back. So we went from an expected 270 leads in a month to 20. And they removed half of the zip codes that we were getting leads in and said, these are the ones you're going to get them in.
So Chris and I talked about that. We hypothesized why they did that. And that came up with my flab analogy here, follow up like a boss. Because what Zillow did is they figured, hey, you know what? We're driving the best quality leads and we're giving connections to these agents and they're doing a shitty job with them. So we're going to coach them to it and we're going to give them these good leads and they're going to close them really fast. And we're going to get 30% of the commission instead of, a couple $1,000s a month for a zip code. Right? So they're going to make a ton of money. And they've been doing this for a year now, or just over a year, just under a year. We started in August. And now they're realizing that, wow, it takes a lot of follow-up. Even though we deliver a connection to an agent, it doesn't mean the customer's ready to buy now. It means they're ready to talk to an agent now, but then they got to be qualified. And you got to follow up, and then they have a death in the family and their dog dies or whatever happens in their world. And it's not happening as fast. And I personally think they said, you know what, we'd rather be comfortable with the cash flow coming in every month than waiting this long period of time for maybe an agent to do a whole bunch of follow-up. So with the decline in leads, which I'm going to show you, there is a decline in leads. Your job shifted, right? The leads we gave you, which are plentiful, guys. I can show, that's not my machine, but they're plentiful. Hundreds of leads a month. You're not dried up on leads. You've got plenty of leads, but now you got to go back and follow up. So your job is follow up like a boss. So if you have less leads coming in, you go back to your rotary. Like when I used to work in sales, I worked at the model center with my dad and my mom, and I had a box of leads. And every week the new ones would come in and they were hot and fresh and I'd play with them for a while, but then they dry up and I still had to make calls. So I go back to my old leads and I'd call them to see what changed in their life, right? And if I didn't have new ones, I worked the new ones first, but then when I didn't have any new ones, I go back to my old ones and try to make them new again. So that's what we do as salespeople, right, Crystal? We talked about that on Friday. Follow up, follow up, follow up, right? So I'm going to remind you here in the bottom right-hand corner, if you're hunting for leads, cold leads, you're a prospector. You're calling for sale by owners, you're calling expired listings, right? You did that in the past and they didn't convert yet, but now you got to go back and recall them again and say, hey, it's Otis. I haven't talked to you in a while. What's going on, dude? Right? Or you're a networker and you're working warm leads, but you're directly talking to them because you go to the BNI groups, you go to the chamber meetings, stuff like that. So now it's time to reach back out to those people because you don't have any new leads coming in, as many new leads coming in. So you go back to your old ones and try to warm them up, right? On the lower half, indirect leads, that's like the leads are, given to you. So you got a whole bunch of, I know you guys do. You got a whole, Ashley and I had a big OpCity meeting last week. You have a whole bunch of OpCity, whole bunch of OpCity leads, a whole bunch of Zillow leads that have been given to you over a period of time that might be ready yet. So warm them up. If you're a marketer, same thing. I'm going to show you 2 agents jumped into Social Ad Engine on our lead follow-up tab, which is coming up 2 pages. You guys got crushed. Who was it? Oh, it'll come to me in a second. Lana Shackelford and somebody else ran Social Ad Engine ads, and they got over 70 inquiries in the last 7 days on their Social Ad Engine ads, right? Those people inquired for a reason. They're not ready yet, but they should go into your pipeline. And when I say pipeline, Chris, help me. What am I talking about? Or Jimmy, if you're in the room, and
CRM.
they got to go into your CRM. Go back and watch the training Jimmy and I did on Thursday about using your CRM and the importance of doing that. And if you're on the reload team, my God, you've been given so many opportunities the last couple of years. We probably haven't been following it up the way we should. So FLAB, follow up like a boss. Follow up, I put a hyphen, so it's one word. Follow up like a boss, right? FLAB. I don't know why that made sense, but it was late and I came up with it. So that's it. I'm just gonna repeat myself on this one. There's two major challenges I'm trying to prevent you guys from dealing with. Number one is there's too many agents in the business that are competing for our agents' past clients. Moxie says, our job is to make you look better to the people you already know. It's funny, Jeff's laptop is sitting on top of a stroller, on top of a bed, and I'm tapping the machine and the whole thing shakes. So just,
It's got shocks.
it's got shocks on it.
Along
So-
those same lines, Craig, I think you saw it more when we were using Zap regularly, because if you put somebody into your Zap CRM and it was already in somebody else's Zap CRM, you
Right.
became a secondary agent and you couldn't be the primary agent. So a lot of you would see that. So I
Right.
think that just proved that your sphere is in somebody else's database, multiple people's database. And if you're not following up with them, somebody else is.
And to my point number 2, they're on Zillow's database, they're on Realtor.com's database, they're on Redfin's database, they're on Open Doors database, they're on OfferPad's database, and they're all reaching out to them all the time. And I showed you examples of that last week, so I don't need to prove it again. Not to mention sphere of influence, plus all the new incumbents into the real estate business who are going to be going out soon anyway. And that was my tie into the customer relationship management. So really, I hope you guys get engaged with Moxie, because they're telling us now that if you're engaged with Moxie, you're going to double your business, right? But it means managing your database. That's the big thing that came out of Thursday's class with Jimmy. Okay? If we're at the closing table and I don't take the time to get your birthday and put it into the CRM, then the CRM can't remind me when it's your birthday to reach out to you.
That's right.
And if I don't go to the CRM after closing and say, Jeff closed on May 28th on his house, then Moxie won't remind me of his house anniversary because I didn't put it in the CRM. So we're coming up with these little checklists for you guys of what we have to do to stay in touch with your sphere of influence, so you look better to them than anybody else does to them. Make sense? So I know it's a little more onerous, but we have more time now because it's not so frenzied. So we got to get back to basics and sharpen our tools and take advantage of the assets we have. Okay, next one. My inbox in no particular order, which is already open. That's Chris Reed. Why is that there?
I'm gonna,
What's that?
I'll click through behind.
I don't know how to use Macs. All right, mine open.
No,
Something.
that's not me. That's you. That's not you. What'd you do? There you go.
There it is.
All right.
So this is just, I highlight the ones I want to talk about. So training recaps. We don't do this for our health, guys. We do it for your health.
I double.
Monday, Thrive or Survive. Jeff and Mike do a fantastic job about setting you up for market conditions, where they're going, the attitudes you need to have. Typically marketing Monday, but marketing encompasses a whole bunch of things. So if you didn't watch Monday, go back and watch it. An economic lesson, this kind of repeat the slides today. We did that last week. You'll hear different comments. Getting back to basics. Chris is a great job with that. And he went into script practice and role play and all kinds of things we have to do to get back to the basics of what we do. Talk about the Beggins listing system, Beggins buying system. Because if you're going to do things today and survive, you're going to do them even better than you did before, because there's more competition and buyers and sellers are more savvy. Moxie Works, I just talked about. Jimmy and I did that on Thursday. And then Crystal and I did real issues in real life real estate on Friday. And that was a fun class too. Op City, to show you a slowdown in Op City. If you remember the sales meeting tax classes we've been doing over months and months and months now.
Greg, you're not sharing.
Oh, you don't really nothing to see, but
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
reading those. Op City says in the last 7 days, your team accepted 7 new referrals. They're working 190 active referrals and have 42 on long-term hold. That's what I want you to reach back out to now. If they're on long-term hold, reach out and say, where are you? Where's your head? Oh, I'm afraid of interest rates. And you have a conversation with them, right? Currently, 12 agents are active and 0 are not receiving leads, which is good. In addition, your team won 7 of 38 attempts to claim a referral with an average winning click time of 7 seconds compared to an overall average click time of 39 seconds. So that's how fast you have to win if you're going to play that game, right? If you're going to be the network, not the network, or the whatever that slide called it, the warm incubator. That's what you got to do. You feed the lead on those clicks. Below is your leads for individual things. I don't know how this works. Let's see. I'm not going to share all that right now. So it's just for me, it's proof that, hey, we got to get faster in our leads and get back on our follow-up. Looker. Oh, I should probably share my screen for this. Chris, I'm going to share, which I think you gave me rights to do. Jeff left the room. I don't know. Well, you have to trust me. So here's what it says. I don't want to download, I just want to open it. We have 108 agents using Ribbon. Those 108 agents, we have 44. Number of agents registered for Ribbon, 108. 44 have actually enrolled customers. The 44 who have enrolled customers have 82 buyers registered, and we've had 18 close already. So Ribbon's something that's out there for you that you need to know about. You're going to see a press release that comes out, Ribbon talk about success stories, and we're 4 of our agents are on their Ribbon brochure for press releases, which I think is really cool. And then I go here. Oops, not that. Looker, I'm going to skip, did that to do. Training with Jim Holloway. This is, I don't know how to share my screen on this program. I don't know how to move from page to page, but this is just a sample of what Jimmy McNally sends me because I'm registered in his group. 8 new listings in the market that I might be interested in, whether I'm a buyer or a seller. And it's just put together. But the only reason it works is because Jimmy put me in as his client, and I'm getting all kinds of cool stuff because I'm in his database. So I'm just going to show you that. Chris LeChance is going to do training with Jim Holloway, with Jim Holloway, with Amy Gregory for next Thursday. Did that. Oh, here's the article. Okay. Hey, Jeff.
Yep, yep,
How do I share my screen?
like this.
I don't know how to dab with these programs.
Boom, boom, boom. Back to Zach.
There you go.
And then where are you sharing? Are you looking for that?
Just move that over. I don't want to do anything, agree with their privacy, whatever it is.
We'll take your cookies. There you go.
Tampa, Miami leads the country in housing price increases over the last few months, says a study. The Tampa area had a 35.8% price increase in April when compared to a year earlier.
Wow.
Holy shit. That's huge. And going back to the chat, I'm not sharing. Oh, you are sharing now. Going back to the chat, Q&A participants. Where's the chat? Your machine's just totally different than mine. Chat. Mike said something. The average car payment at $710 a month, what will people choose? A car or a better house? Car prices didn't go down during the last recession either. Car prices are crazy right now because we can't get chips for them. We are a destination, tax-free state. People want to live where they vacation. And if you're working remotely anyway, why not here? Interesting concepts, right? How do I close this now?
You know, interesting. For every article, there's another article, right?
Right.
So I'm reading one. You need that open?
No.
One I just opened up, just as a reminder, 20% of all renters in America are behind in their payments.
Wow. Well, they can't qualify for home partners or for a home loan.
Right.
So they're screwed. Think about that. If you can't qualify for a rental, what are you going to do?
Moving in with somebody.
You're moving in with somebody, someplace far away. And that's the harsh reality of it. And sometimes we have to have those conversations. But this,
To that point, though, start watching late, because you start seeing some of the 90-day lates, some of the 60-day lates, some of those people that bought properties they should not have bought to use them as renters only made sense when people pay their rent, right? And there's no more subsidies, there's no more deferrals.
there's no more eviction
So-
holds.
Right. So just keep an eye on your local market to see if any delinquencies are coming up. They'll be few and far between. It's only 20%. When it's 80%, there's no problem. So it's not a lot, but it's something to pay attention to.
Well, if that guy's not a jerk and doesn't delay foreclosure problems, and then the landlord could afford to make the mortgage payment while the tenant's not paying, I mean, all those things weigh into it.
If the landlord can afford to make the payments.
And, exactly. And an eviction can take up to a year if the buyer or tenant knows what he's doing.
Right.
So that can really hurt. But the seller has so much equity now.
Depends on when he bought.
That's true.
Did he just close last year? So that's why there's so many intricacies. You just got to pay attention. Looking for opportunities for future sellers.
Yep. All right, Chris, can you take me back to the PowerPoint? Covered my inbox. This is where I want to next time, the one you're just at, that one. Okay, so look at this. Let's just detail it out because I found this out this morning or last night for y'all. 300 connections no longer. Zillow says leads are way down. We had a huge increase in leads this week, but liars figure and figures lie. This week we had 284 leads come through Lead Router, which I was going to show you, but we didn't have time to stop at my hotel and get my keyboard. But versus 239 the week before. Century 21, Zap, and Ojo are crushing us, right? That's our biggest lead source by far. So don't let me hear you say that, but I will tell you, most of you don't answer the Ojo leads that are coming to you. An Ojo lead is nothing more than a Century 21 lead that an agent didn't answer that we gave to Ojo. Ojo incubated and gave us back a lead. And you guys aren't accepting those at a high level. Relo got crushed last week. 62 opportunities to Relo versus 19 last week, up big time. Opcity, just like Zillow, down from 9 leads last week to 5 leads this week. Sign calls up 21 to 29. Why is that? Think. We have more signs. Why? Because the houses aren't selling in 4 days,
right? Which
means we have what? Interest in houses. So get more listings. Zillow Flex from 46 to 6. That's a nosedive, guys. Boom, crash. burn. And then social ad engine went from 12 to 53. So the only reason we're really up is because social ad engine came in. It was Lana and somebody else. I can't remember her name right now, but they got a ton of leads, and that just bumps our lead numbers up, right? So that's the fact. So that's why I'm saying, go back to our old, this is your strategy, in my opinion. Go back to your old leads that you've received over time, re-incubate them, and let's put them into your CRM. Watch the class from Thursday with Jimmy on the Moxie Engage platform. Let's reach out to the old ones, only put the good ones in, put them on campaign, put them on neighborhood news, put them on market updates, and let's stay in touch with them and follow up like a boss, flabby. Okay. And then I got birthdays this week. Andrew Clement at Madeira Beach. Happy birthday. It's an Andrew in a long time. Myself, my birthday is Wednesday. Is it Wednesday?
Thursday, 2 more days.
Thursday. Okay. Today's Tuesday. I don't know. Denise Brendel on July 9th, Dottie Kosiba on the 9th, and Michelle Christmas on the 9th. And then 3 birthdays on the 10th. We have Lauren Fleischman, we have Lakshmi Singh, and we have Jean Darrow, who's a BE3 agent.
Yeah.
So that's 2, 4, 6, 8 birthdays next week or this week. We're all good. And then anniversaries. You got a mouse? Oh, Chris is moving that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. 2003 to 19 years, Bob Pasquarello. There's not many brokerages that have been
19
around
years.
for 19 years, nevertheless had an agent
That's
along.
right.
There.
Did
And-
you sign you out?
Wow. Somebody did.
Yeah. There you go.
Somebody else signed in with training room on another machine and it signed me out. So
Oh, well.
let me,
See if you can remember your password.
I know mine. I want to sign back in as training room
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and steal it back from whoever it was.
Did you forward that to me? Did you share it with me?
You
Pull it up on my
what are you talking about?
requested.
Oh, he's got it.
Okay.
What the heck?
I just got it.
All right, no, okay, hold on. Apparently it signed me out of my email for some reason.
I don't know. I logged in my hotel Wi-Fi last night and I got 35 messages that one of those data protection companies, my account expired, which it didn't. And it's trying to fool me on Microsoft Edge, which I don't use, saying I got to upgrade my Norton and my something else like 35 times.
Yeah.
All scams.
I'll pull it back up. Hang on 1 second.
It's so cool. We're in a foreign country, thousands of miles from home, operating on cell phones and internet
Real time.
connections.
There it is. All right, there you go.
Okay, 18 years, Michael Reichenbach. Congratulations, dude. And thank you.
#1.
#1 agent in the entire company. There's a good example about overnight successes, right? Like there were $500,000 in commission, right? What a great way to start out in the business. Because as everybody joins, I'm going to be a realtor. I'll make $500,000. Now, 18 years of diligent hard work and learning and stick to and lead follow-up and everything else we've been talking about today. It's not an overnight success. Dick Wilson, 17 years. Dick's online right now too. And Mike's online right now. Interesting.
Success. leaves
17
clues.
years in business, 18 years in the business with us, still online watching news. Elizabeth Smart, 2007, that's 15 years. Oh my gosh. Dan Cavalier, 12 years, 11 years. Joy Brown. Wow. And Bill Jardine, 8 years for Thomas Simmons, Nicole Alonso, and Peter Powell. 7 years for Lisa Maurer, Drew Moyza, and 6 years for Margaret Whitty. It's really longer than that. Margaret Whitty's been like 10 years before she left and moved to Texas, then came back 6 years ago. So that's pretty cool. Jack Marola, 2017. Amy Camasso, 2017. So that's 5 years. And then 2018, that's 5 years. Tenley Kramer and Julie Stillwell and Amy Bowles and Celeste Crispin. 2019, this is 22, that's 3 years. So that's Ashanti Mack, Shanna Turner, Felicia Sailors, Keith Petrukas, Cheryl Crawford, Shane Crawford, all 2019. So that's a 3rd-year anniversary. A 2-year anniversary for Yana. I can't read that name from this distance. Victor Szezka. Okay, I can't say German words here either, so I'm not going to do that. Sorry, Yana. Shaquana Morgan, 2020, that's 2-year anniversary. Andrew Rapp, 2022 year anniversary, along with Leighton Ankle, Kelly Sullivan, and then 1-year anniversaries for Tammy Vasquez, Marino Perfetti, Tiffany Webb, Donna Weissing, and Dina Almoizan. So that's a very impressive. Hey, I'm honored, Michael and Dick, that you guys are still with us so long and still engaging and taking part and being a really important part of the company. Both of you are totally top producers, and appreciate your friendship and business partnership for that long a period of time. Very cool. I hate to sound like a broken record, but these things are important, right? We're big in this Moxie leads engine, and this is where your stuff's going to come from. So I want to make sure you have that number in your phone and with a different ringtone, so you pay attention and answer as soon as they come in, because you're getting the opportunities. If you're missing them, though, they're going to somebody else. Anywhere is just something I want you to start thinking about, because I say it, I correct myself all the time. Realogy is an 800-pound gorilla in the marketplace. An article came out maybe 2 weeks ago now, talking about how the market is changing and the valuation of companies is changing. And if you're not profitable with cash in the bank, you're not as valuable. So all the bullshit in the marketplace, the stock market, which you can see is falling apart and going absolutely crazy, because they value companies that don't have any business. They're not profitable, they don't have any cash, and they're loaded with debt, but their valuations are up like this, right?
Yeah.
I'll use Compass as an example. They don't make a profit. Zillow, they don't make a profit. They did make a profit last quarter for the first time, but now they're freaking out. They don't make a profit, they don't have any cash, and they got a ton of debt. Realogy, Anywhere, has profit every year, has $500 million in cash, but they're valued way down compared to a Compass or a Redfin or a Zillow. But the market dynamics are changing, so you're going to see that happening. I'm not giving you stock picks, but might be a thing. Controlling the narrative is us giving you things to talk about. We don't want to be your voice. We want to give you ideas to think about. And you're going to see a lot more of that coming down the pike. We got a special task force working on it for you. I'm sorry, this trip popped up. So last sales meeting of the quarter got kind of messed up because I'm here, but we'll get back on that next week. Top Agent Mastermind. If you're a master's agent or above, you're invited to a Top Agent Mastermind hosted by Century 21. All you got to do is click, yes, I'm going, register, and you'll get a link to the class. And every agent that I've talked to that listened in have really gotten a lot out of it. So masters and above, you're getting a special class, take advantage of it. Managers, I sent you all an email last week. We are part of a special recruiting mastermind now too. And it's 2100 Club and above only, managers and brokers. So please register for those. I think we should attend. I don't want to let the Dave Ramsey video go away. You and I talked about that last night. The most conservative financial planner on the planet said houses are going to go up in value for the next 5 years. If you can afford to buy one now. Don't wait any longer. If you need that, let me know. I'll send you a copy of it. We talked about the economic charts. We're going to give you those too, if I didn't send them to you already. That's perfect content for you guys to talk about and show the public the narrative we want them to see versus what they're hearing. My daughter Samantha, in addition to many other things, is really trying to populate our social media standings on Beggins Agents for you guys to see each other's stuff, and on the Beggins Tampa Bay real estate page. So she's asking you for help. If you're doing cool stuff or any stuff that you think is cool, send it to her and she'll post it for you and help you get more reach. She told me something she posted the other day. Oh, this is her own personal business. 4,300 videos she got in the first day. She was making some earrings or something.
Yeah.
4,300 views. The girl knows what she's doing. So let us help you help yourselves. Save the date. It's probably too late to register now, but 7/25 to 7/27, the end of this month in Kissimmee at the Gaylord Palms Hotel is at Florida 21 convention, Florida FLA 21 convention. That's gonna be a good time for all. I haven't seen the head count for that yet, but I know we have 75 or 80 people going, so that's a pretty good number. And then if you're a top agent, once again, masters and above, your Phoenix invitation is coming out on July 8th, which will be Friday. So pay attention to that. You're going to want to register fast. Those events do sell out quickly. We pay for your travel and hotel if you're a Centurion. We pay for your convention pass if you're masters and above. It's a great way to network and be around other like-minded people. And I just want to put these out there too, because if you don't know what Divvy is, shame on you. If you're not well-versed on Ribbon, shame on you. Zillow Flex is just an opportunity. You should know what it is, although we have no more room because they cut our leads down to virtually nothing. Agent on Demand is a potential listing site where we want rock solid listing agents to raise their hand as we get these things coming. Knock is another nationwide program that kind of competes with Home Partners of America, which is HPA #2, which I think is between those two programs, we can help a whole lot of people. Ojo is another lead source that you could sign up for, like OpCity. But if not, we've hired Ojo to do lead follow-up for us because we know most of you won't do the follow-up necessary. OpCity is a huge opportunity if you're going to play the algorithm game. If you're not, you're going to be boxed out of the box because there's so many people in that system now that are literally hiring people to sit there and click yes as soon as they get it. Move Easy is the Century 21 concierge service that you're getting emailed for. There's probably more to talk about on that one in the future meeting. I don't know if you guys have anything good to say or bad to say, but I'd like to hear at some point, so send me an email. Global Home USA is more important now than ever. As these interest rates are going up, people are using more cash to buy down the rates, do whatever they need. These home sellers are getting full of themselves. They don't think they need to do anything. They're putting the house on the market with no work. Many times they're neglected, and at closing, things go wrong. And if they don't have a warranty, they're stuck with cash. Next Level Resource Center, it's c2nbeckens.com/teachable. If you haven't been on that, any explanation on any of these systems is in there. Go learn. It's all recorded. It's there at the taking. And the Beggars Home Concierge is the same as Move Easy, so I should put that in there. And that's that. And then it's just a reminder for me for the awards. 2022, the minimum for the Masters, which really is like, that's when you're starting to grow your business. Notice as it's starting. You don't go from 0 to 500,000 bucks a year. You go from 0 to 50,000 a year, you go 50 to 100, you go 100 to 165, you go from 165 to 215 to 215 to 265 to 2. That's progressive growth, which makes you grow strong and control. So that's a really good target for everybody. And when you get into Moxie Engage, the first thing you need to do is do what? Who knows? Set a goal. So I'm trying to help you set a goal, and that'd be a good one to shoot for. Chris, I think that's the end of my slideshow for today. Anything else you want to talk about?
There's so July 14th and July 21st, they're both Thursdays at 11 a.m. There are two things going on. July 14th, there's an Ask the Appraiser event. It'll be about an hour and a half. It'll be broadcast out of the Apollo Beach Training Room in person live, but also on Zoom. So if you show up, we will have lunch. I ask you to RSVP for that if you would like to come in. So July 14th at 11 a.m., we'll have two appraisers asking questions, telling you how they do their job, kind of a nice interactive event. And then July 21st, there's a Tony Robbins national trainer coming into the office at 11 a.m. It's a live in-person. I'm working on Zoom. They may be able to do it. They just won't let us broadcast it because it's their information and they don't want us recording it. So it's a peak performance workshop. It's going to be about an hour to an hour and a half. He comes in and just gives you a little bit of a punch in the arm and gets you to rethink some things. It's a good opportunity to kind of reset some goals going into the second half of the year. And then they give us an opportunity to sign up for and attend a UPW at heavily discounted rates. And it will be the lowest possible rates you can get because they're finishing a UPW the second to third week of July. So it'll be the first week that they're promoting prices and they do them at a discount.
I just want to say I love you to Angelique and Sam. Angelique said she had 14 contracts turned in over the weekend, which will put us up over $2 million. So yay for that. Sammy said, I've got about 15 contracts in queue to process this morning from over the weekend, which puts our sales up. So we broke into the $2 million.
Love it.
Bam. So take away all my negativity for the week.
And Joy has piles of files sitting in front of her. I checked on her this morning. So she was here bright and early trying to get everything in because it has to be in by today. Just a reminder, if you have any closings that happened on Thursday or prior last week, double check to make sure that they sent the check over to the office like Craig was talking about when we first started. If they have not, it's your responsibility to go get that check, to get it here on time, to make sure it gets closed out for the June numbers. If it's not in by the end of the business day today, it will not count for June. It'll go into July.
And it's not us being mean. That's the Century 21 award cutoff rules. And they're coming out with the mid-year pace setter awards right now. So whatever's not in by tomorrow is not going to be counted in the first 6 months of the year. And it's not us being mean. It's just the books are cut off. Mike Clamon wrote, 3 agents for sale signs have shown up in my farm after I sent equity letters to all of the farm, but I've not received a single thank you from the 3 agents, but I will not hold my breath waiting for a thank you. Mike, that happens, right? Now, for you, what I would say is, research those listings. Everybody's got a sphere of influence, and that's what I'm talking about. So everybody's licensed now, and they're going to reach out to the people they know and they feel comfortable with. So your job is to know and feel comfortable with them, and you can use tools like Moxie to do that, right? It's not just a free-for-all anymore. We have to get zeroed in and specific on what we're doing. So no discount to you at all. Great job for sending the letters out, but don't be discouraged. Keep going.
Well, I showed that video last week, and
That
it
was
showed
awesome.
a fake real estate agent. They created a fake name, a fake real estate agent, and they sent surveyors into a neighborhood first. They came back with a survey and they asked them, who is the #1 agent in this market, in this neighborhood? And there was a bunch of mixed reviews. No one really stood out more than anyone else. They did an 8x8 campaign where they created a fake real estate agent, a fake real estate agent's name, never sold any deals, sent one mailing every week for 8 weeks in a row, sent the same surveyors back in and asked the same question, who's the #1 agent? The majority of the people in that neighborhood said the person the fake real estate agent who never sold a house, never done any business, was the #1 real estate agent in that market, just from a simple mailing campaign of 8x8. So one mailer is not going to do it. You're going to have to get out multiple times. If you don't get them within the first 3 to 7 days after getting a first mailer out or first contact, they're going to forget about you. So you need another one, and then another one, and then another one. So you have to continue to follow up and hit them.
And if you can't afford a mailing, then knock on their door.
Yep.
Week after week, month after month.
They'll remember your face more than they'll remember the font of the mailer you sent.
That's right. And guys, don't criticize any lead, right? The last lead I got for Century 21 was a mobile home for 84,000. That's still a customer, right?
130 grand.
It's 130 grand. They've got a rich uncle somewhere in Ann or whatever. There's only so much you can do to help, but just be nice and be responsive and get back to them. Maybe they're not for you to work with. We've got people within our company that'll work mobile homes.
Hey,
If
there's
they're
a
not-
woman who lives in your neighborhood who inquired on a mobile home. The woman who lives around the corner from you, the one who inquired on a mobile home. I mean, she
Yeah.
ended up trying to sue us afterwards by falling through the floor, but but she lives in $1 million home and they are inquiring on other properties to purchase, whether it's
They
an
got a Tesla in
investment.
their driveway. They got a brand new Escalade in their driveway. They got a brand new Dodge Ram pickup in their driveway. They got a brand new Audi A8 in their driveway.
Yep.
I mean, it's disgusting. And they call it a $40,000 mobile home.
Yep. So they inquire, they buy them, they rent them, they invest in whatever it is. If I'm going to try to invest in something, a lot of times I'm not going to be calling on $1 million home all the time. I'd probably be looking at something a little bit in a lower price range, less cash. That's going to put more cash in my pocket monthly.
If I'm a millionaire, I buy an $84,000 home. It's going to cash flow me $800-900 a month with like no money down. It's better than I'm getting on a return on my bank account.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know who they are. Jessica Decker just said, thank you. Lots of closings just came in. No, we got to get them in tonight, ladies, or we're going to miss the cutoff for tomorrow. Sorry. Louisa, you're so kind. Thank you, ladies. Best team ever. Door hangers. If no one answers the door, leave door hangers. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. 100%. Right? I'm not getting very many mailers in my mailbox. You got a lot of yours?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't get a lot. I think my name is known. Cool. Thank you, everyone. All right, Chris, that's a good recap. Thank you for starting the meeting. I'm sorry we were late, but we have a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old that want to do the bobsled a couple more times.
That's right.
We can't say no.
We're one traffic light away from being on time.
Ashley, would you like to give us real quick? I'm throwing you in the bus. If you don't remember offhand, I won't blame you, but you had some tips you just recently sent out to the team on Obsidian, things you can do to reset yourself if you want to get more leads.
Right. I actually just sent you the a Google document because you wanted to kind of clean it up and use different verbiage. But it's basically, kiss the ass of the app. Make sure you're if you're not getting leads right now, then go ahead, because that's one thing that a lot of people say. Well, I haven't gotten a lead in a month or so.
Let me stop right there. I would pick up where I left off. But if you're not getting leads now, It's because the app realized that you've been sitting on your butt and not taking care of their leads. And they're not giving you leads unless you close them, because you're only paying a referral fee if they close. So this app is doing all this thinking on its own. And if you ignore it for a while, it thinks you went AWOL. And it's going to take you off the list and move to the bottom of the list. Right? So Ashley's giving you some tips you can do to restart yourself. And there are some pretty smart things. And this is what our consultant is telling us. If you want to play the game, if
And
you don't want to play the game, don't do it. It's not for you.
Right.
But if you want to play the game, this is what you do.
And also, whenever you're updated, I'll keep them updated, and don't let them go delinquent, but also update, like whenever you're talking to the client, it's a really good idea because OpCity will also track if you're using their app to text message or to email the client. So that's another way.
Yeah, so if you're doing your great follow-up with your email and your text message on your phone, and you're not telling OpCity you did it, they're not knowing. So the recommendation is use the app to send emails and text. Duh, it makes sense, right?
Also, if you, even if you don't have a task to do that day, just log on to the app because OpCity is watching that too. So I did just send an email to you, Craig, because I know you wanted to make a new policy and kind of test it out in the next 2 weeks to increase our numbers
Yep.
for our agents.
Oh, yeah, no, that was on my tablet too. House Bill 4D
Yes.
was passed last month. And this is something I'm getting more information on. And Jim Holloway and I had a big debate about this, but remember the Sunrise condo that collapsed in Fort Lauderdale? Well, now the insurance companies are saying, hey, we're not going to insure these buildings until we know they're sound, right? So it becomes complicated because the condo association has to hire an engineer to test the building to make sure the building's sound, right? What happens, just so you know, most concrete buildings, condominiums are built with concrete. And what goes inside concrete? Rebar, steel. What happens when steel gets exposed to salt water? It rusts. And when the steel rusts and expands inside the concrete, what happens to the concrete? It gets weakened and it cracks. And those balconies are made out of concrete. So they want an engineer to go in and sample these buildings before they say they're going to insure them. So now guess what? There's a glut of condominiums condominiums in Florida that are not tested, and there's a limited pool of engineers that are capable of doing the inspections to satisfy the insurance companies. Right? So now the question is, Jeff called me on this and says, do we have a duty to disclose this defect? Well, I think we have an ethical duty to disclose it because we don't want our customer moving into a building that's going to collapse because it's happening. And there's a certain year period of time, I think it is.
Yeah, I just pulled them up right here.
Right.
About building safety, provides the entire roofing system or roof sections of certain existing buildings and structures do not have to be repaired or recovered. But they have to have milestone inspections performed on certain buildings at certain times. That's the big issue we're talking about, is it's requiring
Certain inspections on certain buildings at certain times.
right.
So we're waiting for clarity on that. But Jim Hull and I had this debate, and you're supposed to disclose a material fact that relates to the value of real property that's not readily observable. Right? Now, when you talk about a condominium, what is the seller of a condominium selling?
The airspace in between the wall.
The airspace in between the walls.
Right.
He's not selling the roof. He's not selling the walls. He's not selling the patio porch. He's selling the airspace between the walls. So what is he going to disclose? He doesn't own it. So the onus is now on the condominium association, but they got to hire an engineer to provide the report, but there's no engineers available, and we got a whole bunch of condos to inspect. So what you're going to see is insurance companies saying, I'm not going to insure this building unless you give me the certificate. And then a mortgage company saying, I'm not going to give you a mortgage unless you get insurance. So your buyer could go under contract, pass their 7-day inspection period for their inspections, and then find out later they can't get homeowners insurance, which means their lender's going to default them and say they can't get a loan, which means their deposit's going to be at risk.
And if you stretch to buy a condo and the rules come out that you're going to need to have a certain number of reserves and you don't have it, you're going to have to do one of two things: raise your rates, your dues, right? Or do a massive assessment. One of those two things is going to happen.
Yep.
And so it's our duty, I think, to disclose that fact. And then what I think is the thing you say all the time, just as a reminder, when you're selling a condo, go get the minutes from the last 6 months of board meetings, because this will be in there. And as soon as it's in there, it's down disclosable. Now, we should be doing that. If any of you are selling a condo right now and you don't have a request for those minutes, go get them, because that's the right thing to do. You know, is it legal? Probably, but it's certainly, as you say, ethical thing to do right now. So
Yeah.
please stay on that, especially older condos, especially older, smaller condos. They're gonna have major problems, in my opinion.
If they don't have professional management companies, they're going to be a hard thing to deal with, and your buyers could get screwed. Okay, I see that. The other part was, yeah, the owner owns part of the association and the common areas, right? So it is a big
It's a
issue.
big issue.
So it's something, oh, my point was on the condo meeting minutes. How do you get them? You make it a request to the contract. Seller to provide 6 months worth of condo meeting minutes to buyer no later than July 12th. Right? That becomes now a part of the contract. So if the seller doesn't deliver the condo meeting minutes by the 12th, the buyer can do what? Cancel, right? So that's how you get them, right? I'm not asking you to get them. And I really don't want you to get them, because if you get them, you're going to go to public records and you're going to get the filed version from 1972. But how many amendments have there been made since 1972? Right? So the minutes will talk about all the things that are really going on. That's what your buyers should know. So anyway, good one. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
That's all we got for today, guys. What time is it?
It's late.
Let's see. It's 3:53 in the afternoon here. Oh, I don't know if you can see that or not.
Tied.
It's not even on my background. 3:53 in the afternoon and 9:53 in the morning there. Crazy.
Long-winded, so
Yeah.
we're good.
Thank you, everybody. Happy Tuesday. See you next week. If you need anything, feel free to call. Just don't call. I'm 6 hours ahead of you. So
That's right.
if you call at 6 o'clock at night, it's midnight, I probably won't answer and you probably won't want to talk to me. Bye all.
Have a good one, guys.